Thank you so, so, so
Are
much.
you kidding me? I'll do anything for you, Mags.
I love you. I'm good. I'm good. Well, so this is perfect. This topic is actually perfect for you because you have 2 kids. You have, right? You have 2 kids and then you have how many jobs you're juggling right now? And you're isolating for COVID. So this show, it's just kind of literally, I mean, and it can be anything you want it to be, but the idea of it is kind of like what we do in our downtime to kind of, feel like ourselves again.
Yeah.
Whether that's like, glass of wine, whether it's a trip somewhere, whether it's, or your tea. I first want to start with like, Tisha, you are one of the, we connected immediately anyway, but like
immediately I was love. You were my love bug.
I feel the exact same way. I was so I felt so happy and so safe when you were around because it's like, sets they're so wonderful and we're so lucky. But they can be very stressful. There's a lot of pressure.
Sometimes a little lonely because like you're around hundreds of people, but you're kind of isolated in this little bubble. And you could feel like, you miss your family, you miss your home, your friends. You don't see a lot of people a lot of times and you're working like 12 to 16 hours a day. And, sometimes it could be a little lonely.
It is. It can totally be a little lonely. It can be weirdly isolating, even though you are surrounded by
a bunch of people. Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite memory was the very first taping we did of Outmatched. Yeah. And I remember standing with you right before we went out and did like the intros. And both of us were just looking at each other. First off, like, gosh, we're so lucky. And second, like, let's remember this.
Like, no, that was you. You said that. I was so happy that you had said that because I was like, oh, she's a good egg. She's a good egg. Because so many bad people. And you turned to the entire cast and you said, you guys, remember what it feels like. This moment right here, our first ever taping. And in that first moment, you're really excited. And sometimes you run into people like, gosh, you know, when you get on a set, who's going to nut up by the 3rd season? Because, I mean, honestly,
my new favorite saying.
You just nut up by the 3rd season. You got a cuckoo bird that's going to have a lot of ego and going to have a lot of, I'm saying, diva type personalities. You just run into that. And gosh, you said that. And I was like, oh, gosh. Thank goodness I'm with good people.
Oh,
and I was so happy that we were like-minded. And I think that's what was the attraction for us and why we felt so safe amongst each other in each other's presence.
100%. We had talked about it all week. Both of us were like, because there is like, you're busy and it's crazy and lots of people are around and kind of in your face and all that. But like, when you really take it in, I mean, Tisha, you're like a legend. So it's also like, it was nice to feel that with somebody who's been on so many shows, like you have been working for so long, that it wasn't like a lost thing that was.
No, you don't take it. I definitely don't take any blessing that I have for granted.
Yeah.
Like I think we're lucky in every single way when we have an opportunity to work or share our craft.
Yeah.
And I think, I often talk about this a lot and I've said it so many times, but it always rings so true that I think there's a difference between somebody who is a celebrity and an artist. And an artist understands that they are serving others. This is a servitude. Yeah. This is not, you're not looking to be served.
Right.
And so many times you run into people who, play the celebrity card and want to be a diva or want to be angry on a set and screaming at people who are together. We all make it work, whether it's, from the grips to the producers, to hair and makeup, to, the cameramen, the writers, everybody's working together collectively.
Yes.
And oftentimes people get into higher positions and forget that remember that feeling of the excitement of wanting to be there, of wanting to serve, of wanting to share the gifts that you're given. Yeah. And so I've never been one who forgot, and I've always wanted to be considered an artist. and very, very, very lucky and happy to be sharing it with like-minded people like you.
Yeah. And I remember because I felt like every day as like we were getting to know each other, I would like learn something new that you're like, yeah, I'm recording this. My song's going to be used on this Fox show. And I just turn around and be like, wait, what? Like you're shooting a TV show, mom of two, like you're doing, and then and you'd be like, oh, and it was just sort of like, oh, this is just what
I write songs for Fox. I place a lot of songs on Fox, and I do it for fun because, as an artist, it's just another outlet for me, and I get a different high from each outlet. But that's really funny because I think even the people at Fox was like, you work with Mamie Coleman in the music department. And I was like, yeah, I'm always, working with you guys. You guys just don't know. This is like home.
But it speaks to like what you're saying about sharing your, as you were saying, like this service, like sharing your gifts, like you're a blessing, like to be able to do all of that, even know like, oh, I want to also do this. I do all of this over here. I'm also a mother. I'm also like a singer for these shows, but you're doing all of it, but completely balanced and taking every
not completely balanced.
I will just say, I think in that space we're sort of talking about, that busy space, there is there can be those people that get that sort of entitled, I'm doing so many things, they're so important, therefore I'm so important, therefore I deserve some kind of like, and you're just like I didn't even know you were doing that. And then all of a sudden I was like, Fox is going to be doing my thing. And it's like this, you're insanely talented.
Thank you.
Insanely kind. And I feel connected to you even when we're not like, just like this. I can literally send you a text after I don't even know how long. And you're just like, hey, yeah, what's up? Let's go.
Yeah, no, I think I hit you back within seconds. I saw you hit me. It was like, I think we haven't seen each other in about 2 years.
The show, I think, because
maybe more than that.
Yeah. COVID.
Yeah, because it was before COVID. And, I keep up with you on IG, but we haven't had a chance to like reconnect because we're on our hustle. We're on our grind.
Yeah.
And so when you hit me, I was like, absolutely. I'll do anything for you, Maggie. You know
said that. I was like, I love you so much. So this show is so much about, or this podcast, I mean, it can be about so many things, but I really love talking about this topic to people about like what they find about themselves, how they restore themselves, how they like, because here you are, you have so many things going on. When do you find me time? What does it mean to you?
Let me just say, I was always one of those kinds of people who would just deplete my well and give to family, to friends. I was always giving, and I'm just learning, believe it or not, to start giving to myself. Last year, I was talking about how it was the year of the yes, and the year of the yes was. Anybody who wanted to call me like you did for this podcast, anybody who wanted to call me, use me as a resource in any type of way. I didn't care how big a part was. I didn't care what it entailed. I didn't care how much I was being paid. I didn't care if I was going to be paid. I was going to say yes. This year actually is the year of the yes to me. So I'm saying yes to myself.
Tisha, I love that.
So I've been putting myself first. Completely. And it started off this year with really making sure that my health was okay. And I started calling the UCLA, the website and the people there and getting in and doing everything from my mammogram to my colonoscopy to, I would do it every now and then or go, I got to make an appointment, but I would always push it to the side, including my mental health. And I have been scouring the internet and making calls and getting references for somebody who could really help me with, my past trauma and anything that I have been dealing with currently. And I'm happy to say I finally found someone that I'm really, really happy with and I've been working with. Man, it's just, I can put everything onto friends and I can talk with friends and family members, but my circle has gotten so incredibly small.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for it.
Mhm.
Like I might have 4 people in my cipher. That's it.
That's a lot though. But I love what
It is a lot.
it is for that core, to have that core group of people, like your people, like just your like
Yeah.
these
No,
people.
4 and that's it. Like honestly, prior to that, I was such a giver that I was welcoming people into my home. And especially when back when I was married, we would have parties. People I didn't know would just show up to my house and I would just welcome them in. Nobody would help me clean up. Nobody would help me cook. Like I would have maybe, again, those same 4 people would come in and help me clean up or something. But it started to dwindle down, especially when you do a great divide like that. Right. And I had to really focus in on me, start to put those boundaries up. And trust me, many people were uncomfortable with the boundaries that I now had for myself. Now I was doing this without even, therapy and working on myself. So the boundaries, they were really hard for me. And they were really hard for others because they didn't want to see that type of change. They liked me the way that I was. But I had to concentrate on my kids. And that came first. And everybody else, if they didn't understand,
goodbye. But that is so hard to do. I applaud you for doing that because it isn't sending a message to anyone else that is like negative or you know what I mean? I think people do see it that way when you have to like set boundaries sometimes that, suddenly this pleaser, this very nice person who always said yes is not saying yes. And wait a second, like
it threw so many people off that I lost friends that I didn't think that I would lose. And that's okay. Like I still had to be steadfast in my walk and say, no, you can't have me this way anymore. Right. And our friendship was really unfair the way that it was. And so now everything's going to change. And if you're on board, great. If you can ride through this change with me, great. I may not even be as open with the things that I might share right now, because right now I'm in concentration of survival for my kids and me. Wow. So it made so many people feel uncomfortable that, gosh, they kind of just went away. And I saw this really interesting thing on TikTok. Yeah. And there was this guy, right? And he says, I shouldn't have to explain to a grown ass person why I'm not talking to them anymore. They know what they did to me. They moved the way they moved, and I moved out of their way respectfully.
Oof, that's good.
And that is so powerful to me because I was like, that summed it up in a nutshell. I'm not trying to cause harm to you because I can love you and I can miss you from afar.
Distance. Yeah. There's like that's
afar. Yeah. But I will always love you. I'm not trying to cause you harm. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to make changes that me and my children will be proud of.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, the thing you said too about like the sharing and then people suddenly being like you wanting to be more private and people being like, wait, I want to be all up in your stuff. It like, I feel like I relate to that so much, like in the oversharing of things. I'm like, I didn't want to really talk about this thing, but I know this person will feel better if I give them the whole ticket of everything that's happening right now or whatever, because that's what they want to know about me. It makes them feel in control. It makes them feel, but now I'm drained and I'm also uncomfortable with what I just shared. And I'm like, no. I'm still working on these things, but let
me work on me. Let me get me together.
Yeah.
And if they're there, they're there. If they're not, as you get older, things change and people change and it's okay. Change is good, man. Change is good. It may not feel good. It's uncomfortable for you and for me. But guess what? It's happening. Oh, honey, it's happening.
There's a reason it's called growing pains, right? It's hard and it's scary. And it's usually when those two things are like circulating, that's usually also might mean
you feel like you're on fire. You feel like you're being burned by the fire, but you are not being burned. You are growing. You are becoming even more of a greater leader. And guess what?
Yeah.
It is a beautiful devastation. Okay? Because you going through some devastating things, but oh gosh, the freedom, the joy that comes through. The joy that I feel right now in the growth that I've done. Yeah. I'm so incredibly proud of everything. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. Well, something.
You.
I would have changed some things. But
are you I love you seem light and free. And like, I love your perspective on all of this, because I feel in a lot of ways, like, I mean, part of the reason I'm actually doing this podcast is like, I'm in it. Like, I'm not on the other side of it. I'm not all the way back here either.
I get you. Maggie, let me tell you something, baby.
Yes.
Girl, the freedom, the freedom feels so incredible. Freedom, I don't take it for granted. You know, there are hurts. All of a sudden, you start to have an understanding. There's always a balance. Something incredibly hurtful could happen to you. But boy, oh boy, I always know here comes the balance. Every time there is something that has been so that I feel is like devastating, something pours into me even greater. Yeah. And I get to share that kind of joy with my kids and my new founded circle. Mm-hmm. And it feels so good, that freedom. I know that it gets ugly, it gets horrible. And sometimes you go, oh God, I've been through this already. Do I have to go through it again? Well, yeah, maybe you do. Maybe you do go through it again. Because it's going to show how you've grown and how you can navigate around it and through it. It's so good.
I love hearing this, because I feel kind of like you said, I often feel like I'm with you on that. Like, this again? Are we doing this again, Maggie?
Right. Let me tell you something, Maggie. One time I was I was praying. I'm gonna just say this. I was praying. Yeah. I said, hey, check this out, Jesus. Yeah. Because that's how we talk. We boys like that. Yeah. Check this out. Yeah. You know, I don't want to deal with horrible people anymore. I've done that my entire career. Like, they used to call me the I can't even say that, what they used to call me. Like, they used to say that I would calm down people who were really volatile, the volatile whisperer. That's
okay. Got it. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
So I said, I've been doing that my whole career. God, I don't have to do that no more. Guess what? I'm not doing that. And guess who didn't work for 3 years? Because guess what? It was before I got that job with you. Yeah. It was like a couple of years before I got that job with you. Okay. And because guess what? You're going to deal with people who are volatile. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen again. It's just the way that you navigate around it, how you've gone through it, how you're not. So the new boundaries that you set up for yourself. I used to be the person who was like the sponge, and I would jump in front of everybody and block all of the, anybody from being hurt on a set or anything like that. And I said, I have to take care of myself first and make sure that, I'm going to deal with different people in different ways. Yeah. I don't have to always be the person who gets bludgeoned by the sledgehammer.
Oof. Or the person that I think in talking about this, that, I mean, I don't know if this is sort of what you're speaking to or relating to, but that idea that you were the peacekeeper, you were the one who brought the room down. You could like be the thermostat and this is my work. But like this idea that like, wow, I'm going to this thing, or I'm going to be this place, or I'm hopping on a phone call with somebody, and I know what they're expecting of me. I know that they have this idea of me, and they know kind of what they're going to get, or they're expecting me to be a certain, and I want to be that for them.
Of course. And you still can. But there are times where you go, you know what? I'm going to be in my room while all this yelling and screaming is happening.
Yes.
Y'all gonna be in my room. Y'all let me know when you need me because I'm not gonna be a part of this. I'm not gonna feel this.
Right. And I'm not gonna show up just because you want me to show up. And that way, if it's not authentic to me and it doesn't feel good to me and it's not gonna be healthy for me, then that's not the way I'm gonna show up. I mean, this is
because there are some people who are not kind.
Yeah.
There are some people that are not kind in the business that we're in, right?
Yeah.
There are some people that are not humble. There are some people that, scream. There was this one girl that I worked with, and I never say names and I never talk badly about people, so I won't mention names.
Yeah.
But there was this one girl that I worked with, and man, she used to yell and scream if I had too many lines. She would eat potato chips on my line so that the editors can edit me out or I would have to go loop my line and do it after. Yeah. Oh, she wouldn't show up on the set, and she would stay in her dressing room until like 3:00 in the morning and go and walk past my dressing room. I wonder how Tisha's going to feel doing her last scene at 4:00 and 5:00 in the morning, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's bad.
It's really bad. And there are people who are really that nasty. And I knew that I couldn't go outside of myself or let that person take me outside of myself. I had to be strong in the way that I was without them letting me cause me harm. And when I tell you, everybody wanted me to beat her ass. You hear me?
They were like, Tisha, do something.
Listen, from the writers to the producers to the network to the studio, everybody was like, can you just punch her, slap her, something? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They're going to call me the diva. That's the rumor that's going to get out about me. I'm going to be the one. You know what I'm going to do? And you know what I chose to do instead? I took the long route.
Oh, go ahead.
I took the long route. I didn't do the short route because I even called my life coach and was like, yo, talk me down off this edge.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, the short-term goal is you could definitely, slap her up or punch her up. That sounds good. Right? So he goes, no. Well, or you can do the long route. And I was like, what's that? They said, flourish and prosper.
Yes.
Because the better you are, the more great you are at your job, the more, guess what? It's going to get worse before it gets better. But then something happened in that third week of me trying to flourish and prosper and just do my job to the greatest of my ability. It just didn't affect me no more.
Oh.
Anything that person did not affect me, not one single bit. And I've never really talked about this on camera, but it didn't. And so there's a piece, and even the director comes up to me and he goes, Tisha, I want to be like you when I grow up. This woman will walk in the room and say, you're not saying that line today. I am. And I go, okay, cool. Because at the end of the day, you can't steal what God or the universe has given me. You
also have to be open. I feel like, and this is what I feel like that's why I consider, I told you this before, like you're an angel person. You have this like spirit about you, but I think it's because you are so connected to that in yourself, whatever that is. And you just said, you and Jesus having a conversation and you do it. Like, but you have to be open to like receiving and learning and all of that as well. And like, because I think there are a lot of people that like, they want to like fight. They want to like put the dukes up a little bit. They want to fight a little bit and they don't necessarily pause and think or talk about with themselves, with their spirit, whatever it is
whatever that is
to you, to say like, okay, what is the most loving thing I can do for me right now?
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the things I try to do, I don't know, but it's like this weird like shielding where I'll be like, I don't know who said this to me at one point, but they were just like, just imagine like, what the universe wants for you is love and light. So just like be be like the sun. So it just burns off. And those people can do what they're going to do. Much easier said than done, but like you do it. But I'm listening to you talk.
It's hard, but it's doable.
But you're also so connected, like so channeled with like what that is for you. You know what I mean? And I think it's like love. It's like, anyway.
Well, what we do is not the end all be all. I've always, my parents even, because I've been doing this, since I was 3 years old, right? This job.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad still had me washing the dishes, still taking out the trash and washing my brother's laundry.
Yeah.
And they would wash mine. Like, I was still a kid, so none of this was separate. This was a job. And that's the way that I look at it. So
yeah.
it's just, you turn the light on, you turn the light off. And guess what? I come home and now I'm mommy.
Yeah. You're back in, I mean, not the job matters too, but you're in that you're still, your tank is still full. So you can go home to that.
I can connect to other things.
Yeah.
But now I'm really starting to connect to myself, man. And that joy right there.
Tisha,
it's so good.
So is it for you, like in talking about that sort of joy, is it like the kind of like, okay, so is it the kind of like wake up and you're just in that peace and in that love and like, okay, got it.
It's a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress for me because there's always going to be stuff that's coming at you, and we as women, just women in general, we bear all of this on our shoulders, whether it's work or husband or partner or, kids or whatever it is, it's always coming at us. And then there's the trials and tribulations. It's there. Then there's the past stuff trauma that you've dealt with. It's there.
Yeah.
But there comes a time and it may be because I'm 54 years old.
Oh, good. Are you really?
I am. I'm 54 years old.
Tisha, you look like, not that even matters, but you're like, your whole spirit is so, at 54 is young, by the way, like it just is, but like your spirit is so, like, you're just youthful. Like there's a jovial,
listen, you know why? Because I keeps me a good millennial and Gen Z around me at all times to keep it passionate. Okay? Always.
How old are your sons now?
My son, my eldest is 22.
Oh.
And my youngest, he's going to be 22. And my youngest is about to be 14.
You're in it. So you're basically
they're the best kids.
They got the best.
My youngest was always voted the kindest child in his grade.
Oh my God. I knew this. Wait, something happened when we were doing Outmatch.
Yes, they had a celebration. He got an award while we were working. He got an award for being the kindest child in his grade.
Look at his mama.
Thank you. That's big thing. It's such a big thing to me. And then my oldest was on the spectrum when he was younger, right?
Right.
And I say was because that's how he views himself, right? Excuse me. And he says, sorry. So Zen was nonverbal. He couldn't talk. He was all of these things. And today he's mouth almighty, tongue everlasting. He's going to be 22. He's studying to be an animal conservationist. He's a junior in college.
What?
Yes. He's a junior in college. He's on the dean's list. He keeps 2 jobs. Because guess what? He doesn't want to ask me for a dime. He gives me money for groceries.
Wow.
He's amazing. He helps with his little brother. He is such an amazing man. And when I first got the diagnosis, of course it was devastating, but it was, one of my greatest goals was to get him as independent of me as possible.
I remember you talking about this. Yes.
But he's gone far beyond what I could even imagine. And he's going to a bigger university to get his master's, but right now he's getting his bachelor's. He's just, they are just my pride and joy.
Yeah. I mean, they always, listening to you talk about your kids when we were working together, it was like, it was so fun for us. When somebody's talking about something that they love so much, you can't be like, I love them too. And I've met them, but I don't even know, but I feel like I do because they're both so incredibly special, but it's so like that's such a reflection of you. I remember how important, how dedicated, like everything stopped. That comes first.
Yep. I would run home, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And we were working far away from everything. And it was like a 2.5 hour drive all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah.
I was just like, but again, even when with the traffic and trying to get home, I would tell you, I'm just trying to enjoy this solitude. I would enjoy the traffic. I would embrace the traffic and enjoy the time that nobody was calling my name or nobody was trying to ask me to do something or anything like that. But, when it comes to my kids, I try to instill in them, especially with the older one right now, he really does understand what servitude is. He had a family member recently that told him he was working at Chick-fil-A. He doesn't work there anymore.
Wait, Zen was?
Yeah, Zen has worked in retail. He has worked in service, like waiting and busboy.
Yeah.
He was a busboy. And he's done all kinds of jobs, right? And he's worked for his college professor, helping to restore like butterflies in their department. This whole he doesn't like to not be without two jobs. And there was a family member who had seen him at Chick-fil-A when he had his job at Chick-fil-A. And they were like, "You're embarrassing us. You shouldn't be working there. And I'll give you money to stop working there."
What? Why? Embarrassing us like the family?
Yeah. And so I sat my son down and I was like, "Well, tell me how you feel about that." He said, "I'm not quitting my job. I feel like a man when I'm, taking care of other people." I was like, "That's what it is, son. Like what I do is a servitude. And I wanted you guys to understand that serving others is an honor.
Yeah.
So you're going to get it's a stepping stone. And are you going to choose to take that path?" Because that person offered him a lot of money. And he was like,
"Stop working there." They offered him money.
Mm-hmm. You're embarrassing.
He said no.
He said no.
What a dude. What a man like that. I mean, or what a human. I mean, what a human. That is so hard to do.
Yeah, it is really hard to do because I thought, and you know what? I was going to let it happen, Max. Whatever his choice was at that point, I couldn't even get in the way of it. I was just going to be like, okay. And I was hoping, praying that, something that I taught him was in here, in his heart, right?
Yeah.
And he made the choice that I could be so proud of.
Oh, you're like, no, he said no to money. And he said yes to Chick-fil-A because he wanted to be in a position to make people happy and take care of them.
I think that's one of the things too, that oftentimes people are like, people say, "How are you so humble?" about all that stuff, right? And, money is not my God. Money has never been my God. It's never been important to me, sharing my gift or making people, feel something or laugh or cry or change a mindset or understand others, or that's what my job is.
Yeah. And your intention and everything you do, that's there. Like you see it, you feel it. Also why you are incredibly successful. Like it's the right place. But it's true. And I'll say like successful, however you want to measure, but in that you are happy, you love what you do, because you know the why of what you do. And therefore
why is more important than how much.
Right. Exactly.
It's not that everything else it pales in comparison. I don't care about all of that.
It's so funny because I one of my questions I sent you today was like, what are like 3 things you can't live without right now? And I'm like, oh, we're kind of like talking about all of that.
We are. But it's definitely, it's one of the biggest is, God, even saying that, like, that's a hard question to answer, but I guess we kind of covered it.
I mean, I would say this is what I'll tell people too, is always like family members is that we know our family, like we can't live without our people or whatever, but it's also like anything you do in your tea, a bubble bath. Is there anything that like, because I love hearing you say, I'm in this place of like freedom now. And you kind of talked about like what sparked it. And then you went into your health and you're like, oh, I'm taking care of me. So is there anything in that, like, do you have any sort of routine or any sort of practice that you like?
Well, I used to work out a lot and I had genetic arthritis in my knees and I had I had a whole knee replacement. And I had to stop working out. My health was failing really badly.
Aye.
And I come from a family, a whole family of like people who are diabetics. And I have a brother who is a double amputee. My dad is trying to keep his foot, and it just is what it is. And I was headed that direction too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to say now that, I started getting better and starting to work out again, getting my health back in shape. Concentrating on that right now is I think the thing that I can't live without. I have my tea in the morning, and now it's time to really, get myself back on a more healthy track.
Yeah. Do you ever treat yourself? Are you like a spa? Do you ever like go to the spa? Do you do anything?
I would listen, if I could, I would treat myself every daggone Saturday.
You're like,
I love a good massage, but I haven't had, it's been a while. It's been a long time. And I thought I was going to get one like a couple of weeks ago, but it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So, that's something that I would love to get.
Yeah.
But I don't have the time.
It also sounds like you found a piece. Like I that's what I was sort of getting at, is like, in talking to people about that kind of a thing, it means something different for everybody. Me time means something different for everybody. Favorite things means something different for, like things they can't live without means something different for everybody. And it's really interesting because you sound so fulfilled. Like you sound like that all just comes from within. So for you, it's like, and I know you love to dance and I know you love music. Is there a song that you're like, this is my, okay, I gotta like get into it and feel like myself. And I need.
Okay. There is a song. Gosh. Okay. The artist is called DJ Cool, right?
Okay.
And DJ Cool has a song, let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. So, check it. So I just met him.
Shut up.
I know, right? Wait. So I was just playing the song right before I met him to my millennial friend, because she was like, "This is your song, huh?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is one of my favorite songs." And I played the whole song and I was dancing and everything. Then I happened to run into him. He walks up to me and he goes, "Hi, my name is DJ Cool. And I sing, my song is Let Me Clear My Throat." I said, "Stop playing with me." And he goes, "I'm not playing with you." And I said, No, don't play with me. I said, "Are you really DJ? Is that really, don't play with me. Are you really DJ Cool?" Right. And so I completely fanned out on him.
Oh, wait. So where did this happen? Like where were you?
Okay, so my mom really wanted to see Stevie Wonder perform, right? So he was performing on this cruise called the Tom Joyner Cruise, which is an incredible cruise of this wonderful icon in the African-American community. And he's been doing radio forever, since we were young, since I was a little girl.
Oh.
And Tom Joyner always does a cruise that benefits HBCUs, historical Black colleges and universities. And he's raised over $60 million for kids to go to college.
What?
Yes. Over $60 million. And so every year people would go to these cruises. Now I've never been.
But it's to support this cause.
It's for the cause. And so he's been doing it for umpteen years, and it stopped for COVID, but this is one of the first ones back. And there were 4,000 people, sold out. He has all these amazing artists, everybody from Usher to Stevie Wonder to Lauryn Hill to all these different people who have done it over the years, who have, performed there. So you have these great performances and you have these theme nights. And so my mom really, this year was Stevie Wonder.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, so we got to see Stevie Wonder, Shantae Moore. We got to see Hill, Busta Rhymes. Like it was really a plethora of amazing hip hop and R&B artists.
I'm like Tisha Campbell,
gospel artists.
Yeah,
it's an incredible 7-day cruise.
I love this.
So I took her, and he was there.
Oh my God! So how did he know to come up? Was he like, "Hi"?
Okay, so it was Busta Rhymes' birthday, and they asked me to bring a cake on the stage during his performance. And so after I came off, he was right there, and I run smack dab into DJ Cool. And it was a highlight of my cruise.
Yeah. And also for that to be like your go-to, like, this is my
go-to song that makes me happy.
I love it. That's it. Like, that's so good. I'm such an impromptu dance party person when it's like, I'm like, I got to shake it all off. But this whole cruise, this whole story is incredible.
It's such a good, it's so good. It's really good. And it's such a great cause.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. I love, what kind of tea are you drinking right now, by the way?
Oh, I found, because I moved far, far, far away from LA, right? And in this garden, I happened to find some freaking mint. And so they have mint outside. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to boil it. And so for the last week, I've been, harvesting the mint and boiling it on the stove. And so I have mint tea every morning now.
I love that. I'm going to make some ginger right now. That's my kind of go-to.
I love ginger too. Yeah. I sometimes mix the two, but
like it just burns everything out. It feels so.
It does. Just get it all out of there.
Tisha, is there like anything else you want to share just about this like experience for you that's like, or your year, or any like nuggets that you would be like, you know what, here's something I learned that I want to leave people with this just from there. I mean, I didn't even expect that. I literally was like, this podcast is about your me time and how you spend it, how you restore yourself. But like, you're on the side of it that I can't wait to get to.
You're about to be on. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
So maybe I'll say for me.
That tunnel was so dark and dim and ugly at some point. But gosh, on the other end, when you start to see the flicker of light.
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to my friend. Her name is AJ Johnson. She's an actress and a life coach.
AJ Johnson. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mentioned this before. Is she still your life coach person?
Yeah, she's my friend.
Oh.
And so she introduced me to this king in Ghana. And the king called me in one of my darkest moments. And he said, and this is a bad accent, so please forgive me, but he said, Sister, he said, you are supposed to go through the fire.
Right.
If in order for you to be a leader, you have to go through the fire, but you have to understand, you will not get burned. God will not let you burn. So go through the fire. Embrace the fire is what he was saying.
Yeah, like, go into it.
The beauty of the devastation. Embrace every tear that you cry.
Wow.
Because on the other side of that is peace and freedom and joy.
That is so beautiful, by the way. How did you meet a king in Ghana?
Oh, she put me on the phone with him because she's always going over there. She has dual citizenship.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And so she's always going over there to do, charity work and she's just.
Does she still take clients? I'm like,
yes, she does. I'll give you her number when I get off.
I love this. I love that. I love hearing about that. I love that we have these people that kind of come into our lives as like guides, especially the ones who are like, you find your own way. I'm just here to nudge you and help you. I'm not going to tell you how to, or like what it is for you. You're going to have to find that yourself, but just to have that person as your resource of somebody that's like,
need somebody to tap in and you need tools.
Yeah.
That's so important because let me tell you something. There were many a therapist that I have been to.
Yeah.
That talk therapy, that's great, but I need tools. So when I leave there, that I have something that I can work with that can help me navigate through all the muck and mire. I need that help.
Well, you want to do the work. I think that there are a lot of people, and I think, look, and not taking away from anybody's journey or experience, that's just where they are, but it's like, that just kind of want to be in it and just talk about it and aren't that interested yet in like that part. But that just says so much again about you, because it's like, give me my work. Tell me what's.
I don't mind the homework. I want to give you an apple. I want to be the good student.
I just started saying that.
Good student of life. Seriously. Like, that's why I'm so happy about the new therapist that I have and in the small circle that I have, because these people hold me accountable for my actions.
That's
they
big.
Hold
That's
me accountable. They make me do the work. They tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Because I don't do well with yes men. I don't like a bunch of yes men around me. I've never
like you'd see through that in 2 seconds. Yeah.
No. And I want to be able to, in my next relationship, to be whole and not have to bring so much of my own baggage, to the table.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be a greater person in my next time.
Ah, that's so beautiful. And I that's like, again, the eye on the prize kind of thing, a little bit of like, what's the intention and where are we going? Like,
what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Max? I have a friend named Danny, right? And you met her, and she was like, you need to get in touch with Maggie because Maggie is a good person and you need to call Maggie. She used to say that all the time. You and Maggie need to hang out. Y'all need to hang out.
We do. We're going to do this. But it's funny because I think of Danny a lot too. I really connected with Danny as well. And I was thinking that I was like, oh, I want to have her on the podcast too. But I was literally like, I every time I think of that time, I always, and I'll see her on Instagram or whatever. And I'm just like, I love her.
We follow each other, Tisha.
Yeah. I love her so much. And I love both of you so much. But you just connect with people sometimes. It's just, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a shared kind of like soul thing that it's something, but I had that with her as well. And I love your relationship, the two of you.
I wish you nothing but joy. I wish you nothing but happiness, Maggie. I want the best for you. You are such an empathetic, giving soul. And I really did connect with you when we were together. And I don't want that to stop. So I'm going to bug you on this phone. I'm going to text you and check up on you.
I love you. Thank you.
Make sure that you're okay. And just know that I adore you with all my heart and soul. I do.
I feel I'm going to cry. I feel the exact same way. And this was incredibly beautiful, helpful. I'm so happy to hear where you are, how you're feeling, and the space that you have, that you're in now.
When we were working together, that was one of the darkest times in my life.
Wow.
You would never know it because I never bring my problems to work.
No.
It was.
No, you don't.
Darkest. Nope. You would never see it.
Remember that dinner we all had at Jar? Oh my God, that was so fun. I felt like that was the one night we all just like, we didn't get
really connected.
We did. And I was like, we are just scratching the surface. This was a good group. And I was like, I want to go with, I wish that would have continued, but.
Yeah. And the only reason it didn't continue was because it was COVID.
And it was a mess.
It was a mess. The COVID came and it was new and nobody knew we couldn't it's all good because guess what? I connected to you.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. It's like, I feel connected to you even when we're not connecting all the time. I really do. I'll see you. I'll see what you're doing. It's like, so we'll make that more real and to have a more, connection. I really am like, I really am going to reach out to you about this as well, but also just we'll have a
Let me help you. Let me help you in any way. Let me be of service to you. Let me help you in any way I can, because you know what? I know that feeling and I know where you are, and let me connect to you. You'll be my fifth person.
Yes. I was thinking as you were talking, I'm like, do I even have 4?
No, right? That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because
I do now. You're my 4th. Thank you Tisha.
I love you, man.
So much. Like, I love you. This was so beautiful. By the way, thank you for being so open and sharing all of this. Like, this is really powerful. You're really powerful. Like in the brightest, lightest, way. It's big. It's really something. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. I love you. And I'm going to hit you right after I click this on.
Yeah.